Hey everybody, this is Jeff, please go, and today we will be drawing President or soon to be President Donald Trump, and we'll be working in Photoshop CC15 or something along those lines. So if you want to follow, you can open up Photoshop or you can try to do this in Paint. You're all free to do what you want. So we got this reference picture of Donald Trump. I got it from Google, just Googled Donald Trump and it's alright. We got a tiny hard brush, I think, just to lay down some initial sketching. Make sure that you have a second layer, that you don't draw on the layer where your reference is on. And we'll start off by just drawing rough outlines of Donald's face, Donald's good looking face. That can be really rough. You don't really have to pay attention to any minor details right now. Just sketch out the basic forms of the reference picture, the picture you're referring to. And as you can see now, I'm doing his shoulders, I'm getting his clothes right, just all really drafty. You can also see that the picture isn't too big. That is to actually make sure the forms that I'm drawing are good looking, because when you do it in a smaller frame, you pay more attention to the to the general surrounding of things, the general form of things. So if a head is a block, or if it's more round, or things like that. Also laying down general outlines for the hair. As you can see, they're very basic right now, but we'll get to that. Mark down the eyes. Also again very general. The nose and the mouth is soon to follow. You don't have to pay any attention to any details right now. Pupils, wrinkles, shading, we'll all do that in a later time. Just draw a nice little face there. And now I'll be using the rectangular tool to make sure that I increase the size a bit, that is to actually get the detailing a bit. So this is our primary sketch. It didn't come out too well, but it'll work with what we do. It's just a sketch. You can be really loose in sketching the things. I actually messed a bit, and I didn't really notice that I was using it. I'm laying down some minor details right now, but that is to help the shading a bit. So I'm marking territories that I'll be shading, like the bags and the eyes and the nose lines. Just adding a bit, marking the places where we need to shade a bit. That will help out tremendously in the process to come. So yeah, this sketch is done. This is a good sketch. So we'll add another layer on top of that, and we will switch out our brushes. For those of you interested, I'm using a Wacom Volito 2. That is a very basic Wacom tablet, but it works. It works. It's like drawing in a little sketchbook. I'm actually reducing the opacity of my layer 2, as you can see, so that I have more grayish outlines, and that will help me in actually making the final outlines. We don't really need to use the reference right now anymore, so we'll get rid of that just to have a clear image. As you can see now, I'm carefully outlining the sketch, just marking every line that I need to pay attention to. So I'll start with the face outline, with the ears and the shirt and the tie, but I'll also be doing the eyes, and I'll be marking little. I'll be going more detailed this time around. As you can see here, I'm doing the suit. Try to pay attention to the quality of your lines here. These lines will be more important than the sketch lines, so you really need to pay attention to how you draw, how you do these lines. You need to take care of the thickness of your lines, the flow of your lines, and if you mess up, no problem. That's why you're working in Photoshop. You can always just Control Z or Control Shift Z, and that will take care of all problems you get. just detail the eyes and the nose a bit, those facial features that really capture a person's likeliness. That is people ask me a lot, Joff, how can you get your characters so how do you get your characters so realistic? And I say it's all in the eyes and the nose. The mouth a bit less, but the eyes and the nose carry the likeliness of your character. So you need to get these spot on. Even from this very basic drawing, still you can clearly see this is Donald Trump. The outlines of the face obviously do a lot as well, but the eyes and the nose is actually where it's at. So I tried to draw there some eyebrows, but I wasn't very happy with that, as you could have seen, and I redone that. So you have to be ready to add things, to subtract things, to redo things in pieces you're working on now, else you won't ever improve. Just have fun with it. Try different things. When you're working in a digital media, you can just try different things. Keep trying. As you can see here, these are my final outlines. They're very clean, they're very neat. I'll be removing the sketch outlines, and as you can see, things are already looking very well. This is almost, if I was doing this picture black and white, this was almost a finished painting. Also, when you see the reference, you can clearly see the likeliness is very well kept. Now I'll be making my brush a tiny bit bigger, and I'll be using a soft brush now, and that is because we will be doing the coloring. Now coloring can be the hardest part of actual painting, so I'll be guiding you through step by step. For those of you following, just take your time, pause the video whenever you have to, and you'll be alright. I'll be explaining coloring in some simple steps. Everyone can do this. So I picked a color there. Don't use the color picker. Try to pick colors on eyesight. Try to get as close to the original color as possible. And I'll be just filling the jacket in with this dark bluish beautiful color. The soft brush helps a lot for varying your colors so that you don't have a full bright color but just a bit smushed. It looks a bit smushed, a bit blurred, and that'll help the effect greatly. So just fill in that whole color, and then we will go to the white to color the tie and the shirt. Now this won't look like it does much, but you need to fill in that color because we're working on, again, new layer, and because the background is white you don't really see the white. But you need to get that color on your layer, else you'll have a bad time. Now we're adding the blue strokes. As you can see, the picture, the reference picture cuts off earlier than I have drawn, so I'll be going on a limb a bit here. For now, we'll be doing the face, so you need to try to get as close to a face as you can. People tend to use bright hot pinks for faces, but you generally don't want to do that. Donald Trump has a bit of more orange, I dare to say, style, and really just experiment with that. Try to get people's tones as closely as possible. As you can see, I used a bit of a darker shade, and I think that'll really make him pop out. I'm drawing all over the features, but that is because we'll be moving layers soon, and I'll instantly increase the quality of our image. As you can see there, that absolutely doesn't look bad. I'm kind of happy with that. So now we'll be using in the same color range. Oh no, actually I'm shifting colors a bit, but that is alright, a tiny bit, and we'll be drawing the hair. I made a tiny mistake there and I left it in on purpose. As you can see, I picked the third layer when I was shifting the layers, and I accidentally drew on that. Now this is something you don't want to do. You want to keep your layers, you want to keep your color and your line arts on on different layers. So now we'll be doing the details. As you can see, there is a tiny bit of purple under Donald's eyes, so we'll be adding that as well, very carefully. You don't want to go too much because else it'll be looking a bit comically. Just the tiniest of bits. Experiment with this. You can do all your research, everything you want, but you'll truly learn when you experiment a bit. Now Donald Trump has bluish eyes. It's pretty hard to see on the reference image, but he has bluish eyes. So we'll be doing that, and we'll be experimenting with it a bit later. As you can see, I'm working on one layer for color. Some people prefer to work in different layers, but I like to keep the flow going a bit, and I like to mix up my colors and then do all these kinds of crazy stuff. And that is the main part of painting. Have fun. You need to have fun. What I'm doing now is I color picked the color I used, the dark blue I used for Donald's jacket, and I actually went a bit to the right underside, and that is, it'll give more blue value, but it'll also be a lot darker. I'll use that to lay down some groundwork shadows. You can be, as you can see, there's a hard contrast in the reference image, so you can be pretty hard with your highlights and your shadows, more importantly as well. So just try to feel where there is where the shadow should fall naturally, and just give it a flip. This is also a lot of to do with experimenting, so it's alright. As you can see, same thing. I color picked the color, and then I just went right and down a bit on my color scheme, and I got almost perfect color, a color value, a shadow value I should say. Now we're just filling in the spots where the shadow should fall naturally. Now we do have some hot lights, so the shadow will be, again, due to the contrast of the image, the shadow will be very pronounced. So we'll try to do that. That is why my values are also darker than they normally should be. Again, pick the color of the hair, right, under, and you get almost perfect shadow colors. Now people ask me a lot, how do I get the hairs so naturally looking? And it's all due to one ground color, one shadow color, and one highlight color. And these are the three main ingredients you need to have to really pop out your painting. As you can see, we only did shadows and ground colors, and the painting almost looks finished. But as you'll see, as soon as we address the highlights, it'll give that extra pop, and then you'll really come to the conclusion that, okay, yeah, this makes it pop even more. This is almost photorealistic, and that is the effect that we are trying to achieve here. Now I'm adding highlights. It's the same process as we do with the shadows, but instead of right and under on our color palette, we go left and up, more to the light side, and that will give you good values for highlights. Now you can experiment a bit with that. You can go more to the light. I've noticed that if you go darker with highlights, that is something you generally don't want to do, but you can add white highlights, for example. That's absolutely no problem. And just add in highlights. Make a tiny mistake, it's no big deal. You have your redo, that is absolutely no problem. This is why I do like working in digital. You have more room to experiment with, and just try to see where the light is coming from and add accordingly. That'll give great value to your painting. We are almost done here. I'm just adding a bit more of since the shirt is white and you do the same, it'll end up the shadows will end up a tiny bit gray, and that is alright. That will come out pretty good. I think I could have gone a bit more gray, even a bit more to the dark side, but that is alright. I'm kinda happy with that. Now I'll be detailing the eyes a bit, just two tiny specks to indicate where the light is coming from, and I think we're almost done here. I think we're done. As you can see, if the reference did not have a watermark, it would be very hard to actually differentiate both of these, and it just takes these easy steps: coloring, sketching, line art, color. That's all you need, and you need only 3 values per color. And there's the light value for the highlights, there's the ground value for your general color, and the dark value for your shadows. And that is the most important lessons you need to learn. Now let's have some fun with this image, because the normal background just was a flat black and we don't really care for that. No, we'll do the thing and we'll just give him a bit of an American flag in the back. As you can see, we're drawing on the background layer now, so it doesn't really matter if we go over the image. We'll just start off with a blue. No, I need to Google this. Wait, I might have messed up. I'm sorry for my American viewership. The American flag obviously does not start with blue color. I myself am not American, as you might have imagined, so my bad, I'm sorry. So we'll quickly erase this. That's very easy. The hotkey for your eraser is E, since we did not use that too much this thing, and you don't want to use your eraser all too much. You can make happy little accidents, and that is absolutely okay. Accidents is good to make. It'll teach you lessons that you would normally not get. So don't be afraid to make accidents. Experiment, have fun. That is the most important of things. Now we lay down our red lines, and we'll just add a tiny blue rectangle there in the light upper corner, left upper corner, I'm sorry. And that is, look at that, that came out a lot better than I expected. Now just to add the white stars, that's 1, 2, yeah. Just, you can go pretty quickly over that because it's in the background and, you know, nobody will really care too much about details there, since the centerpiece is the attraction, so it's alright. And just take that. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 states. That is 100% alright. You gotta stick a bit to the realism of your painting as well. So America has 20 states and we drew 20 stars on that, since the stars represent the states in America, so that is, we tried to get that as close as possible. Now we'll just use Control, Shift and E to merge all visible layers. So we made our reference layer and our line sketch layer invisible, and we pressed this Control Shift E to merge all visible layers, and we got with a nice flat image, which we will subtract in a second with the rectangular tool. And that is to get rid of all the white space in our frame. We do not necessarily want that. We want a nice centered piece of work. So we'll just select this one on our background frame, cut that, open a new image, and just paint it right there. And as you can see, this came out pretty well. I'm very happy with how this came out. I didn't think it would be this cool, but yeah, it came out pretty well. We'll just add a tiny little title here, just to give it that extra concluded feeling. There we go. Now, and don't forget to actually sign your masterpiece, because if you plan on selling this, you need to have a certain feeling of authenticity. Ladies and gentlemen, this was Joff. Please go with a painting tutorial on how to draw Donald Trump photorealistically. Thank you for watching. You can always subscribe to my YouTube for more tutorials on photorealistic drawings. I also do other styles of drawings. You can like this video, you can share this video. That would be greatly appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, see you later.